Hi, my name is Judy, and today I would like to share how I met Jesus 37 years ago. I grew up in a small town in New Hampshire, and I was one of 6 children. And I can remember, even growing up, I always wondered about God and if He was real and if He even saw me. And my mother faithfully used to send us to church every Sunday. She'd dress us up and send us to church, and I used to go to a Catholic school, but they never really taught me about God and who God was, and never really told me how much God loved me. And I always wondered about that. And I used to take walks alone in the woods and just think, God, are you real? Do you see me down here? I had a real loneliness and a real emptiness inside, even as a young age. I just felt a void and emptiness in my life that I couldn't fill. I got married at a very young age. I married my childhood sweetheart, and by the age of 20, I had 3 kids, and I thought, wow, my life's going to be wonderful. It's all set. I have 3 wonderful children. I have a husband, and we ended up moving to Connecticut, to Hartford, Connecticut. My husband came down here because of work, and that was a really big step for me because I left my family that loved me and moved to a strange land where I knew no one. And of course, without having Jesus in your life, things don't work out the way you want. And needless to say, a lot of things happen, and I ended up alone and brokenhearted, raising 3 small babies, 3 small children by myself. I was so broken and didn't know what to do. And I ended up getting a job where this Christian work named Craig, and whenever he would work with me, he would always tell me how Jesus loved me, and he would always remind me that he was praying for me and invite me out to church. And I never went out at that time, and I remember 2 years had gone by, and during those 2 years, I used to run into him all the time. He'd see me waiting for a bus to go to work, and he'd stop and he'd pick me up. And he said, he would remind me again that I'm praying for you and invite me out to church. And I said, oh yeah, someday I'll come out. And those 2 years were some of the worst years of my life. I went through some terrible things, me and my children. I had become very depressed and had to quit work and ended up staying home. But I never forgot what Craig had told me, that Jesus loved me and he was real, and he invited me out to church many, many times. And during that time, I had moved actually right up the street from the Full Gospel Interdenominational Church. So one night I said, well, I've tried everything else. I'm going to give Jesus a try, and I'm going to go to church. And I got ready and I walked down Main Street, and I had pants on, and I saw that everyone had a dress on, and I felt really bad because I had blue jeans on, and I said to someone, geez, I got jeans on, can I still come? And they said, oh, of course, just come as you are. And when I walked in those church doors, it's hard to explain how I felt. I felt like I had come into a whole new world, and everyone looked happy, and I felt this peace and love that I've never felt before. And I said, I don't know what they have, but I know it's real. I could tell that it was real. So I ended up finding a seat, and I sat by myself through the whole message, the whole service, and I felt like the minister, everything he was saying was just talking to my life and talking about my life, and all I remember is just sobbing through the whole service. I was so broken and felt such a love. And at the end of service, they asked if anyone wanted to come down to the altar and get prayer and ask Jesus into their heart. I was still sobbing immensely, and I wanted to go, but I was really scared. And this lady named Betty came over, and she grabbed my hand and she said, "Come on, I'll go down with you." And she took me down the altar, and I got prayer, and I asked Jesus in my heart, and he came in, and I felt such a love and a peace come into my life, and he saved me. My whole life changed. My whole life has never been the same. I remember leaving church and feeling so wonderful, so wonderful. I went home and I just told my kids everything that God had done, and I had smoked 2.5 packs of cigarettes a day, and from that day on, I never wanted another cigarette. But I never forgot the words that Craig said to me, "I'm praying for you." And that stuck with me for this whole time. And I just want to let you know that if you're out there and you feel you're all alone and your heart is breaking and you don't know what to do, remember someone is praying for you. And remember that Jesus loves you so very much. And you can have a new life. Jesus gave me a new life. He filled my life with peace, joy, and happiness. And he wants to do the same for you.